I'm rooting for Wardlow. I've been in this camp for a while. I feel like there's a really fun play here that if MJF is realigning his guys, he could be the guy to come up underneath and also,
Wait, so you want Wardlow to be the one to eventually defeat MJF?
I do.
Oh, no.
I think
hell no, Kate. Oh,
hell
my no.
Goodness.
I'm sorry, but they would have to do so much for me to say yes right now because those TNT title reigns, they were so boring. I'm sorry. I know.
Yeah, but
I'm
I don't
a heel.
think it was his fault.
I'm a heel.
I don't
care.
We
saw it twice, Kate. We saw it twice. So I'm out. I'm out. I do not want to see right now this iteration and what we've seen from Wardlow. I would not want to see him as AEW World Champion.
Did we not get?
He would have to change and go back to how it was when he was first doing the storyline with MJF and how hot he was there. But you would really have to take me back in time and get that same amount of that same amount of buzz. I don't see it right now. No way.
Wow. A hard no from Denise.
It's a hard no.
Yes on
it's
this.
a 0%, bro. I'm like negative on this one.
Wow. I feel like there's such an opportunity here. I feel like you invested so much in MJF.
3 times. Wait, apparently it was 3 times. Was it really 3 times? Am I losing count here with how many times he's been champ? TBS champ? TNT champ, excuse me.
The one flip back and forth, right?
Let me double check this. All right, continue on.
I'm going to continue on with my defense of Wardlow should dethrone MJF.
It was 3 times. You see, it was so bad I didn't even remember the third time.
There was the one that flipped real fast to Hobbs, right? Like
it was the really, 3 times.
Really quick. So, yeah, no, I feel like the thing with MJF is like you've invested so much into him. And if you go and put it on Jay White, that's awesome. If you go and put it on Kenny Omega, that's awesome. But like if you want the handoff to really mean something, Wardlow's the dude. Like I feel like it's a very fun way to make that pay off. And I don't think Wardlow needs a year-long reign either. I think there's just a way to capitalize on the momentum that you lost with him and build it back up because of their history. There is so much juice. And the biggest moment of my career, you flirted with getting on a plane and you pussied out. Like, I think there's a lot that you can lean into promo wise. Not that many people have beat MJF before. Wardlow is someone that has beat MJF rather cleanly. I don't know, man. You're in a negative percentage on this, and I have it all mapped out in my head.
I'm the SpongeBob meme right now. I'm a head out.
I'm a head out. I feel like if we're reassembling people around MJF, which like Adam Cole's out, he's not going to go it alone. He can't, right? That's the character we've come to know and love. Who's the first guy that guy's going to want to get into his employ? The guy that beat him. It makes perfect sense to me. As well as some other underlings, I feel like is really important. But I feel like their sordid history is the best thing that's ever worked for Wardlow, and he was so over when it happened. Revisiting it and having the title drop to him in the process, even if he loses it back a couple weeks later, a couple months later, I'm all in on this idea that I've manufactured.
Kate, bless your heart. Bless your heart. I hate it. I hate it so much.
I'll say this though, I'm not mad about the idea of him dropping to Jay White at all. Like I'm not mad about that idea. I just like mine better, which is why I made it up.
Yeah. And by the way, I hate to break it to you, Kate, but right now, so far, we're seeing a couple of people kind of mainly like, nah, I don't think so.
Look at everybody just sheep following Denise's idea.
We got Austin Cruz here who says, I'm with Denise about the Wardlow thing. He needs to rehabilitate himself. I can't even talk anymore for a little bit before he wins the title.
I'm not saying do it tomorrow.
Switchblade for the title. I know you're not saying do it tomorrow, but I feel because it just did not work out with him as TNT champion 3 times. Apparently forgot about one.
Yeah,
that's
but
terrible.
Because of how it was booked, not because of that dude. That dude rules.
Yeah, at no point was it. But here's the thing, though: how many people in AEW that have succeeded and that are doing well, that have been given spots where they were champions? How many of them actually failed the way that we saw the Wardlow one fail?
I mean, the Hobbs one, because it was all part of the same mess, though. Like QTV with Hobbs, that did not work.
That one, I'll give you that one. Yeah, I'll give you that one. We'll talk about Hobbs in just a second, too.
the reason I put it on creative and not Wardlow is every time that guy came out, he got a reaction. Every time he did the Powerbomb Symphony, he got reaction. Anytime he was doing crazy stuff off the top rope, he got a reaction. So to me, that says the performer was over and doing his job. The creative was not sufficient enough to support the performer. So that's where I draw the line.
See, I was bored with the Powerbomb Symphonies.
I was too, but then we were getting like Whisper in the Winds when we got like when we moved into the triple threat with Hobbs and Joe and him. I felt like, okay, we're seeing some progression, which is why I was like, why did we cut this off? So that's
how do I say this? I feel like the ship has sailed with that story with MJF and Wardlow. Like, yeah, they can circle back to it and they'll have a couple moments here and there, but I feel like so much has happened since then that I cannot tell you that my interest is going to be completely reignited in a story between Wardlow and MJF. I just feel like now so many other people have come up. Like, so many other people to me have just become much more interesting. For example, Orange Cassidy. Orange Cassidy had a freaking phenomenal reign as international champion. He freaking made that bout. To me, that guy's on the map now. Example, Swerve Strickland. He's out there freaking busting his ass, having all these incredible matches. That guy's on the map now. Ricky Starks is another one. That guy's on the map now. Unfortunately, time kind of moved on, and I almost feel like the moment kind of passed. Like, I feel like, yeah, sure, they people always love like throwbacks, right? People always love like, oh yeah, like they're circling back to this because of their history with this and that, right? Everyone's gonna remember the the story about the airplane and whether or not MJF bought the ticket or whether or not he was gonna leave. We all know that story, but I just personally feel like it's almost if you were to go back to Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland. We never got that official matchup. Yes, they had the great story, but to me, the MJF Wardlow stuff is along the same lines already as that. And Wardlow already finished off MJF that day at Double or Nothing. That was the finish. That was it. That was the payoff. We got that moment. It was one and done. MJF left for months, and that was it.
Who would he want to have in his corner more than anyone? The guy that beat him. So I feel like they should be realigned. And then they should turn again. I'm not thinking in terms of this guy should have a year-long title reign after winning it. He might even lose it back to MJF not that long after. But I feel like you got to get this guy back to where he was because he was a rising star. And there's a really, really fun way to do it. I've had this in my head since MJF won the title. I was like, he's going to drop it to either Eddie Kingston at Grand Slam, which obviously didn't happen, or he's going to drop it to Wardlow. I have married that in my brain so much, and I feel like this is just like the perfect environment to do it in because he has, it looks like, I don't know if it's going to be MJF stable or just mercenaries like he has, but I feel like if he's forming those people again, that's a really great way to get things sorted. So
I love how Errol
Helms fine, drop it to Jay White.
I feel bad because you were really passionate about your plan, and I was like, no.
I'll be like Tony Storm out here. So
you're like, I'm never coming back on your show again.
No, please, no, I love this. Yeah,
me too. I do. But Errol Holmes says, you ladies fighting is awesome. Will you be here Tuesday?
I love it. Title all Tuesday, right. Kate and Denise.
By the way, if Wardlow gets hot again, we're going to have to circle back to this conversation because I'm going to want your thoughts and opinions when that happens or if we ever get back down to that whole story. So we'll see. But thank you so much to Errol Holmes for the super chat as well. There was another super chat that I think I haven't gotten yet. Yes, this one's from Rafael Garcia. Thank you so much to Rafael who says, it makes the most sense to me for Wardlow to win. If you think about it, a lot of the reason he didn't go over was because of the MJF walkout. So, Kate, this is somebody more in your favor for this booking idea.
For understanding me and my perspective as a guest on this show. No, I'm just kidding. I actually love this because, like, I've been in that camp for a while, and I haven't heard anybody who's fully like, nah. So it's good. Like, I love that kind of stuff. And by the way, I love Jay White. If he's the guy to do it, I'm not mad about it. Like, Jay White is great, and he could be such a valuable world champion for this company. Would not be mad about it. I've just married this idea in my head.
Christopher Marino says, it's okay, it's okay, Kate. Denise is a Dom fan. Hey, man, Dom got himself over. It worked. He's got more things going on than freaking Wardlow did. Think about that. But that does
fun.
go to prove that, but you are right though when it comes to the booking of Wardlow. I will say that though. I do think that they definitely needed to spike things up just a lot more for him. They didn't really do him any favors there. But I also think that a lot of it has to do with what you're given, you have to make the best of it work, right? Like how many people haven't been given shitty booking and they somehow make it work?
I agree with that. I think my last kind of Wardlow memory was he was over as hell at Full Gear in that triple threat. Like when I go back to, because that was one of the last like meaningful matches he really had. That triple threat with Samoa Joe, when he went up for that Whisper in the Wind, it was deafeningly loud. And I just feel like, man, and you said it yourself, like he's capable of being white hot. So maybe it's part him, maybe it's part creative.
White hot.
Let's get it together. Is what I'm saying.
He was white hot during that Double or Nothing period. Like I remember Revolution when he came out and he cost MJF this match against Punk. I was there. I remember this. And it's very unfortunate because I think back then you would have never thought that it would have gone down the way that it did. So that's where we're at with that.